Okay, good day, and that's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone joining us today for the fifth session of our Regional Radio Communications Seminar 2020. Welcome everybody to this seminar. This is being jointly hosted by the ITU and the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, CTU. I am Nigel Casimir, the telecommunications specialist at the CTU. And as usual, before we get started, I want to remind you of a few tips to participate successfully. Please remember when next you log in to the webinar to sign in with your information, giving in this order: your first name, your last name, your organization, and country. For example, in my case, I have Nigel Casimir, CTU, Trinidad and Tobago, or TT, which is the short of Trinidad and Tobago. Use abbreviations, as it would make it easy for you to be identified for entry to the webinar and also for posing questions, and if we have the possibility for any interventions. During the presentations, we ask that you post your questions in the Q&A box in order for them to be seen and efficiently addressed. The Q&A box is accessible by clicking the Q&A button located at the bottom of your Zoom window. And using the Q&A is especially important since there are hundreds of persons registered for this seminar, and there will be limited opportunities for verbal interventions. Also use the chat button for sharing general comments and information with panelists and or attendees. The default setting for chat is to all panelists only, so be sure to select your desired recipients when entering your comments in the chat box. The seminar presentation slides are and would be posted on the event webpage on the ITU website. And this seminar would continue every weekday over the next 2 weeks, this week and next week. We are arranging to have links made available to recordings of the sessions. We had a little delay in editing the videos, but hopefully sometime today we'll be able to start posting those links for all the daily sessions. So today we are moving on to the next session of our webinar, and we are going to be on terrestrial services, the Terrestrial Services Department of the Radio Communication Bureau. And our two sessions today will be looking at the tools, the web tools that are available, the software tools and web tools that are available for managing the interface with the ITU BR, between the ITU BR and the administrations, for everything related to terrestrial services today. And on Monday, we'll be looking at similar tools for satellite services management. Our speaker for this first session is Mr. Saman Jayalarian from the BR terrestrial services area. We met Saman earlier in the week where he made some earlier presentations. So I'll ask Saman now to take the floor and begin today's sessions and presentations. Saman, please.
Hello, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon to all. So I hope you have had enough time to benefit from all presentations made during past sessions. Starting from today, as it was mentioned, we focus on practical usage of some tools developed by the Bureau to assist administrations in performing different tasks. So in this session, the first session this morning, I will have 4 sections for you. So the first part will be about the BRIFIC tools, how to consult the BRIFIC data, master register, and plans, and things like that. Second part would be some examples of notifications. So I've prepared 2 examples. Probably you have already downloaded the documents from the website and you have already seen. And I will try to briefly present how we can create notices, electronic notices using Terra notices tools.
Saman,
yes.
if I interrupt you for a second, have today's presentations already been uploaded to the website?
Yes, I assume.
Okay, because there was a question asking that, so it should be available.
Yeah, there is a zip file containing everything. So
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then the third part, I will quickly present the online validation tool. Then the last part would be VISFAT, how to notify. So the last two parts are very short, but the first and second parts would be a bit longer. So in case, definitely we do not have enough time to cover all subjects, all topics. So please don't hesitate to post the topics that are most important for you in the QA window. So I will try to catch them and focus on those which are in priority for you.
Saman, just let me again. I'm looking at the chat, box.
Yes.
People are saying that they're not seeing the presentations in the presentations folder, but there was one comment that there is a separate folder for tutorials.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's not in the presentations, it's in the tutorials, because you know that the presentations are finished.
Right.
Starting from today, we are in the tutorials section.
Okay.
So,
right. I think that's the
yeah. If you don't mind, I can quickly share my screen and show where to find it. So this is the page for the event, and when you download resources, you see presentations and tutorials. Presentations is over.
Okay.
So starting from today, we go to tutorials. For this morning, we have this part, which is for terrestrial services, and for Monday, you will have the content for the space services.
Okay.
On this, you will have a zip file, which you open and you see all parts of the sections the sessions that we will have this morning.
Okay, thank you.
So I will cover the first four. So this is what I was explaining. Okay, so now let's start from. I think I have to. Yeah,
you have to stop sharing the old one.
Stop sharing and share again. Yeah. Yes. Then use of BRIFIC tools. Okay. Yes. So as it was mentioned in the previous days. So in the BRIFIC, we have a big database containing master register plans and notices received under process and notices which are going to be returned or already published in part 3 for this BRIFIC. So in this PDF file that you can have a copy of it, there are some usual tasks that like frequently asked questions by administrations. For example, national extract. Now, if you want to have a look at all your recorded assignments in the MIF, just as very quickly. Or if you want to search, if you're looking for a specific location and for a specific frequency, how you can search for this and find this assignment, and also other things. So I will just take one of these examples and try to show you how it works. For example, first one, national extract. I'm now switching to the to another application, just let me know if you see the screen. You are still seeing my presentation, or now you see the tool?
We are still seeing your presentation.
Okay, so again, stop sharing and okay, so this is the BRIFIC, which will be published next week. So this is how it looks when you run the TerraQ tool. You see here, at the top of the screen, you see the title, the name of this tool. This TerraQ is used for consulting the data, which is in the database, master register or plan. Then here in this screen, you see a summary of the content of the BRIFIC, this BRIFIC edition. These numbers does not show the whole content of the MIF. These are only the changes in this BRIFIC. And if you want to search and have a look at the content, there are some tools here, some parts of this TerraQ tool which can be used to look at the data. But before going to that part, I just want to show you these two important screens or tabs. Whenever you receive a BRIFIC, it's always good to go to these two screens, mainly to go to concerned administrations, to see if your administration's action or attention is required. So for each BRIFIC, there are some thousands of assignments being recorded. So some of them may affect your administration. So by quickly going to this screen, you can have a look at this part at the end, this table, and check if you see the name of your country there. And if the name of your country is there, it means that you need to do something. You need to take action. You have there are some notifications, some assignments affecting your country, probably, okay? Or they need your agreement. So for example, here, just quickly see if there is something from the region. No, I see Honduras here. There is one. Okay, one assignment from Mexico, which needs the attention, or the name of Honduras is mentioned here. So it means that the coordination is done, completed with Honduras. But as the name of this administration is mentioned there, so it's good always to have a look at it and verify if the content if you agree with the content already published. And this is the notifying administration. So here you can have a look. If you have notified already something, you can go there and see how many of your notices are already published or processed. Okay, then here we have this small button here, which is new query. By clicking on that, we see this screen, this window appearing. So we have these four types of query. First one is general purpose query. This is used when you want to search in the whole database, in the MIF, plan, everything. The second one is used if you want to focus only on this BRIFIC. So it makes your query a bit faster and a bit simpler to define the query. Third one is for advanced users, SQL query. When you know the SQL language and you have your own query and you want to directly go to run your own query and get the results. And quick query. Quick query is a series of simple queries which are predefined, already created in the system to speed up your query process. For example, let's have a look on GPQ, general purpose query. Okay, here you see it's very complicated. You have several windows, several places to put data. and it may take time to create a query. But if you go to this quick query, you see, national lookup. For example, I select this. This is a simple screen. Only by only a few things, you can run your query. For example, your administration. I don't know, let's take one example. We had Honduras, okay. Relevant fragment. So we just focus on the MIF and we run the query. Okay, let's see how many notices or how many assignments are already recorded on behalf of that administration. So now it's the software is searching the whole MIF, and first it provides some statistics. And if we want, we can load the data. Yeah. So you see here, we have how many? We have 1,157 rows or assignments in the MIF. And here is the list of all these assignments. Okay. And if you want to see the details, you can simply double click on each one and have a look at the details of that specific assignment. Okay, these are the details. For example, this is the frequency which is assigned, which is the date which the notice is submitted, and characteristics of the antenna, location of the receiver, and things like that. Okay, and you see different colors. You see black, you see blue, and at the end we had another color, which is this green, which is this red here. So the difference is that the black ones are for fixed and mobile. You see, for example, this one, aeronautical, radio navigation station. This one is fixed coastal. This is fixed aeronautical. The blue ones are sound broadcasting in low frequency and medium frequency range. And the red ones are broadcasting stations in VHF and UHF bands. Okay. Then here in this list view, we have the word map view. If you click on that, you can see the location of the stations. Of course, you can zoom in, zoom out, and in case if you want to, for example, see what station is located here, if you move the mouse button over this, by right-clicking, you can get the detailed information of that assignment, which is here. Okay. So that was a quick query. Here, now we are back to our GPQ, which was the general purpose query. So when we open a GPQ, we have the possibility to choose a domain. Like if we want to focus on fixed and mobile stations, VHF broadcasting stations in the VHF and UHF bands, or low frequency and medium frequency, or all of them. Okay, we can select one. Then we can go to the administrative data and filter or search more and more. For example, we want to focus only on the MIF. Name of a country. Okay, so for example, Antigua Barbuda. Then station information. What is the class of a station that we are interested in knowing about? For example, FB. The explanation is here. Base station in land mobile, notice information, if you want to put the name, the notice type, receipt date, what was the dates of receipt of such notice. Here you can define the frequency range from frequency A to frequency B, inside a frequency range, outside of a frequency range, exactly equal to a frequency range, or these are different possibilities that you can choose. Or you can define the geographical area, either inside the circle, outside of the circle, or define a custom area on the map, or just choose a country name or a radio communication region, and then search in that area. Or coordination data for those that you have received disagreement or objections and things like that. As time is limited, I cannot go to details of each screen because in some minutes I have to go to the second topic. Okay, so this is how the GPQ works. Okay. If I close this, I will go to LPQ, and you see that they are almost similar. For example, if I select this, I have fewer screens to filter my results. For example, here, it says, okay, which part of this BRIFIC you want to look at? Part 1, part 2. As there is no part 3 in this BRIFIC, it does not allow me to select this part, but I can select part 1 and part 2. Or if I'm interested in a special section, then I can choose the notifying administrations that I'm interested in knowing about them, or concerned administrations. And I can filter the frequency, and I get the results. Okay. So all these questions that are, or queries that are mentioned in this document are possible by using this TerraQ tool. Oh, there are also other tools in this package, like DB Manager tool. So this DB Manager tool allows you to choose between all different versions, all different editions of the BRIFIC that you have already installed on your PC. So as I said, every 2 weeks you receive one BRIFIC, and you install it, and this installation does not overwrite the previously installed database. So you keep previous editions of the BRIFICs that you have installed on your PC. Of course, it takes space on your hard disk, but it's good. You will have the history of the BRIFICs on your PC. So if you want to switch between the BRIFIC that you have installed now with a BRIFIC that you have installed 3 months ago, by using DB Manager tool, you can easily switch. Then we have another tool, Geographical Files Editor tool. With this tool, which is here, you can create a special area or a boundary, and you can use that boundary to search for assignments and notices. Like this. So in these 2 pages, you can see one example. Then, okay, special queries that you can, this is a part of GPQ. So when you create your queries, as a result, you can see, for example, what assignments are not located in a specific band. So this is just an example of a SQL query. So you need to know the database structure of the BRIFIC, which is explained in this address. And the document is located in the BRIFIC DVD that you receive. By clicking on this button, you can have access to the structure. And this is how you can use the MDB extracts, which are published every 2 weeks on the BRIFIC website. So there was a question the other day. One participant asked how we can open the MDB files. This is explained in this slide. So you can download this file. There is a zip file. You open it, extract the content. There is an MDB inside. When you open the TerraQ tool, there is a menu item here, import external data, and then you can choose this MDB and search the content. And as usual, there is a part in this TerraQ which opens the preface to the BRIFIC. In chapter 4, section 3, there is a big table of these address codes that I invite all your administrations to have a look at this part and send us updates if they are outdated. So please always have a look at this and update this part, because this is an important section of the document that administrations use to contact your administration. Okay, so first part is finished. I'm going now to the second part, which is some examples of notifications. Just let me have a look if, no, there is, for the moment, there is no questions, it seems. Okay, now, so here I have just taken 2 examples. This is example 1. We want to imagine that we want to notify a fixed link. Means a link from a fixed station in the fixed service to another fixed station, of course, in the fixed service. So these are the data that we use in our example. For this thing, as it is mentioned at the top of this page, we are going to use Terra notices and the wizard functionality. Let's see how it works. Okay, this is how Terra notices looks like. So when you install the terrestrial BRIFIC DVD, you will have this section in the list of your applications in your Windows. Then by double clicking on this, Terra notices, you will have this screen. By pressing F2 or by going to File menu and choosing this wizard, you will receive this screen. This first one on the left. So in our example, we wanted to create a fixed link notification for the country of Colombia. So the first thing that we have to choose is the country code. By selecting the country code, here at the bottom of the screen, you see a list of possible notices. By selecting a country, we are also at the same time selecting the ITU region, radio communication region. And by selecting that, the system knows already what kind of plans are applicable in that region or for that specific country. So slowly, it limits the number of notices which are applicable. For example, here you see we have chosen Colombia. So we don't see lots of notice types here. Like for example, G11, GT1, these kind of things which are only applicable to Geneva 06 plan are not listed here because they're not applicable. And then we select the first one, update the master register. We are not going to work on a plan. We are working on the master register. By pressing next, we go to the second screen, which is this. Then it asks us what we want to do on the master register. Do we want to add something? Do we want to modify an assignment which is already recorded? Do we want to suppress an already recorded assignment? Or do we want to withdraw a notice which we have sent, but it is not yet recorded? By selecting add, you see the list of notices is again more and more limited. In the next screen, we have to choose the class of a station. This is very important for the system. And you see that by selecting that, we will receive only one possibility, which is notice type T11, which is applicable to this case. So we choose the class of a station and a station type. We have two options here, either transmitting a station or a typical station. So for typical station, we have notice number T14, but as we have selected the transmitting station, we have T11, and we put the frequency then after. After responding to these simple questions, we will receive this screen. And at the lower left part, you see that still there are problems. There are missing parts in this notice. Yes, in the wizard part, in the first questions, Terra notices were able to choose the appropriate notice for our case. From now on, we have to go and find all these red boxes and provide the missing data items, like emission bandwidth or class of emission, nature of service, date of bringing into use, and so on. By providing this information, you see that this part will disappear. This means that we have already provided all necessary information. Okay? There is also this part. You see, this is assignment characteristics, and we have a small part here, a little bit hidden, operations. This part is related to antenna information, like type of power and gain, directivity of antenna, if it's directional or omnidirectional. And then here in the bottom part, we introduce the receiving point. As it is a fixed link, we have to define a fixed point. We cannot say that it covers an area. If that was the case, our notice type would be T12, because point to area is covered under LAN mobile service, okay? Now, as we don't see any problem in this notice, we can validate it and save it by pressing on this button up here. When we press on this button, our notice is saved as a text file here. And this is the content. If you remember 2 days ago in the previous session, we said that electronic notices are just simple text files with a special structure. They have a head section, they have a tail section, and they have a notice section, the body of the notice, which is like this. Okay, this is our second example. In second example, we want to notify a VHF sound broadcasting assignment. So this is just an example for 90 megahertz. This time we are not going to use Wizard. We want to start from scratch. So we open Terra Notices. We go to New Notice. New Notice, we choose the country code. And again, by selecting the country code, the list will become limited or will grow depending on the country code. It only shows the applicable notice types. So for Chile, for VHF and UHF bands, we have only these notice types. Okay. Then we choose the first one because we want to notify a sound broadcasting station. Then a T01 notice will be opened. And again, here we will see the missing part. So we have to go and fill all those missing parts. Then here we have antenna characteristics. And here we have maximum effective antenna height. There is a special part of Terra Notices which assists us to get the value of maximum effective antenna height and also the list of values of effective antenna heights around the antenna. It's this button here. By clicking on this, the system already receives the location of the antenna and the height of antenna above ground level. By these three data items, when we click on submit, the system has access to a kind of digital map, digital elevation map. And from that map, it does the calculations and receives the list of effective heights. And when we press OK, it fills automatically the notice. So we don't need to calculate these values outside. Of course, if you have a better map, you can do these calculations yourself and put the values later on. Okay. And again, by clicking on this, validating and saving the notice, we will have this text file. Okay. So I have seen two questions concerning previous presentation. I will catch them, okay? I will go and definitely reply to them. But now it remains only two parts. I will present the next two parts. They are very quick. And then I will go back and reply to questions. Okay, so I will go to the third part, which is the online validation. Yes. Online validation is an extra web tool provided to administrations to validate the notices in more detail. As you noticed, in Terra Notices, there is a kind of validation already there, but that is offline. And that only looks on the copy of the BRIFIC that you have on your DVD. And you know, every minute, every hour, the database is updated in our place. The main database is updated. So the notice that you validate by using Terra Notices may have problems when it receives to ITU and it is processed here. So the validations that we do here is much more deeper than the validation which is performed by Terra notices. So this tool, this online validation tool, is available here through this address, the website. And in order to be able to use this online validation tool, you have to have a TIES account, TIES username. If you don't have it, you can go to this address and request one or activate one, okay? When we log in here, we see this screen. So you have this button, you can click there and load a notice that you have already created and you have already validated with Terra notices. You can load it, and after a few seconds, you will receive the reply like this in this table, and you see if there are problems or if it's okay. Okay, so browse, then you choose the notice that you have and you upload it. And here you see the results of it. If it says that it's okay, it's not still not 100% sure, but you have a high probability of your notice being accepted in our system by our validation rules here at the ITU. So yeah, this is like this. I will stop this and go to the website. So like that. I will now share my screen. Okay. I'm waiting for the website to be opened. Okay, now. So this is the ITU website. We go to radio communication part. Then here we go to terrestrial and we go to VISFAT. So here you see access to online validation. This is how we can enter the online validation. So here you have to have a TIES login. And here you have the possibility to create a new validation. You can browse for a notice and we choose one notice here and we upload and process. So it says that it is pending. We go back to validation history and still pending, okay. We refresh it. So let's see. This is another example, previous one that I have already asked. And if I show you the results, you see that there are no errors and no warnings. This is how the validation is done. Okay, so now this one is now okay, finished. And the second one is the same also. See, no errors, no warnings. You see, it's very simple, but it's very useful. It saves a lot of time from your side to make sure that the notice that you're sending is a good one. Okay, I click on this statistics, and you see here that there are so many other administrations that use online validation on a daily basis. They send a lot of notices. These are administration codes that they send notices, and they use this tool to validate their notices before sending to us. Okay. Now I'm going to the last part, which is VISFAT. You might be already familiar with this tool, but we will just have a quick look on different steps. So VISFAT, for VISFAT again, it's not the ties user. You have to have a ties user, but you also have to be defined as the official notifier. So just having a ties account is not enough. Your administration should have already introduced you as an official notifier of your administration. So in case, I think most of your administrations have the official notifier, but in case if you want to change that person or add another person, you have to simply communicate to the brmail @itu.int by introducing that person, by giving the ties account and the username and email, then we will activate the access for that person. So how the VISFAT screen, we can use that. So we go to this address, and of course, you have to log in with your ties user. But if you don't have it, like myself, for example, I don't have the ties. I am not an official notifier. What can I do? For this case, for this test purposes, we have this test account. So if you want to test, you can log in with WRS as username, and you can use WRS like capital letters 2010 as password. And you will see this screen. So now you can choose which one of them. For example, if you want to notify under Article 11, this is for update of the master register. Or if you want to update a plan, you can choose either one and then open submission form. Then you see this screen, and in this screen you have to put your own email address here and put a title. I propose you, if you are using this WRS account, please always type here, this is a test notice. Of course, we will find out that this is a test notice, but it facilitates our work that by seeing this notice, we don't process that as a real one. And then total number of notices, which is in this file. And then remarks, if there is a remark, just you can write that this is a test and so on. And then you can choose the file, choose your notice file, which is already validated, and you can submit it. And then it will be sent to us, and we will process it, and you will receive a kind of acknowledgement of receipt. Okay. So now I will go to the questions. First question is that, does the fragment type automatically change when the initial selection, with this initial selection as well? Okay. So let me go to TerraQ because this question is concerning TerraQ. there is a relation between these domains that we select here. For example, if I select all domain, if I go to administrative data, I see all fragments, broadcasting fragments, LFMF fragments, and FXM fragments. You see that the list is much longer than this case if I, for example, only select LFMF. If I go here, I see only 3 fragments. One is master register, and these two are 2 plans, RJ81 and Geneva 75. So yes, there is a relation between this and this. Then the second question was to review the reason for the OpenMDB extract, as well as the reason to review the preface to the BRIFIC. Okay. Why we need to OpenMDB extracts? Let me go to the BRIFIC webpage. So I share the website. Okay, we go to the BRIFIC page. In this BRIFIC page, you see that here, when a BRIFIC is published, on the same date, you see this short summary of the information. Like README, what is published in this BRIFIC, and the content of parts 1, 2, 3. And if there are special sections, you get the document for that specific special section. And this is the MDB. The BRIFIC which is published on this date, you will not probably receive it on the same date. I'm talking about the physical DVD, huh? Because before this COVID problems, we were sending DVDs by post to administrations. It could take up to 2-3 weeks for that DVD to be delivered to a user. So during this period, during this waiting period, and administrations could simply open this MDB extract and have a look at the content and do actions. Okay? This is the reason you don't necessarily need to open each time the MDB extract. This is only for those administrations who want to go a bit faster and get the information. And the second question was to why we need to update the tables, the addresses. Okay, I think I have to stop share. And because I want to open the other thing, the preface. Okay, now I'm loading that. Okay, now let's have a look at the preface. So this is the preface. So what the part that we were asking you to have a look is the chapter 4, section 3. Address codes and operating agencies. Okay? So you see that it starts, of course, it's based on the alphabetical order of the country codes. It starts from ABW and goes to the end. If you just take one example, I don't know which one, like Albania, Algeria, or Alaska, or Andorra. These are the symbols of the geographical areas. We call it countries. They're not administrations, huh? They're just geographical areas. So for example, for Argentina, we see that the address code is the first part, the code 12B we call it. And they have a list of operating agencies, which is here, listed here. And this part, we call it 12A codes. So you can just go there, simply have a look at this, say that, okay, no, this telefax is not anymore valid. We want to change it. Just you can simply send a message to the BR mail asking us to change it. Or for example, some of these companies are not anymore there. Just ask us to remove them. Or you want to add some new companies there who are responsible for some of your networks. Ask us to add them. Of course, we do some verification, and in case of problems, we are in touch with you and we ask your guidance, or we inform you that there are some consequences of such a change. And together we will decide what to do and how to change the data. Then, okay, so this is the second question. There is another question. So does producing a notice with no error warnings guarantee favorable finding? The answer is no. Because the validation is completely separate from the examination part. Examination is something else. You can put correct values, correct for that simple standalone notice. But when it wants to enter in the database, it may affect other administrations. It may be in the contrary with the plan entry. It may miss some coordination information. There are some thousands of reasons that the notice will get published in part 3. I can tell you that the notice with some errors will not even enter in the processing pool. So producing a notice with no errors is a guarantee that we start the examination of that notice. This is the thing that I can say, but favorable finding is something else. Then, okay, notices produced based on characteristics recorded in a plan. It can be the case, but if, for example, we have some cases that, like in Geneva 06, if you have a group of assignments, then you have to process that group. It's not very simple, but it increases the probability that your notice will get recorded, your assignment will get recorded. What is the difference between testing notices using online validation and VISFAT? Error on VISFAT is, I don't know what kind of error you're referring to, because VISFAT does not open your notice and does not do any kind of validation. Probably the notice format that you have used was not suitable, or was so big, or I don't know, it depends on the error that you're referring to. Can we update only the database file in order to use TerraQ or Terra notices without uninstall and install again a new BRIFIC version? I wouldn't want to reinstall the whole terrestrial software suite when it is published a new BRIFIC version. Normally it should work, but I can tell you that the biggest part of the installation is in fact the database file. Because the whole BRIFIC DVD is about 5 gigabytes, 5.2, 5.3. And from this amount, about 4.5 gigabyte is the database. So the amount of time that it takes for you to copy the database file to your hard disk is not really much faster than the installation of the whole thing. Okay? And from the other hand, there are, from time to time, there are updates on the software tools. And if you are using an old version of the software with a new version of the database, it may happen that you receive some error messages, or you cannot use all functionalities. So I really don't recommend you not to reinstall the software, but installing the whole package. Okay. Yes, after submitting to VSFAT, you receive a notice of error. Yes, that is always possible, even if you do the online validation. Even after online validation, it's not 100% sure that the validation that we do here in-house does not give you any error messages. Why that is the case? Because from the time and the date that you do the online validation and the date and the time that we do the validation here, there is a difference. And during that time, the database is updated. Probably another notice is, another assignment has entered in the master register, which is in contrary with the notice that you are sending, or there are some validation rules changed. It is very rare, but it is possible that you receive error messages even after doing online validation. Okay, so I'm looking at the next question.
I'm not sure you have more questions.
No, I don't think so. No, I'm reading the last question, but I'm not sure if I have replied to that or not. I'm just thinking about it.
That was a response to your answer.
Okay.
Your earlier answer.
So we have some time, no? We have about 20 minutes.
Yes, we had in the chat, someone was asking to verify the username and password for testing purposes. I answered it in the chat. I hope I was correct. I recalled it as WRS TERRE, T-E-R-R-E. And the password is capital WRS 2010.
Yes, the test username and password for VSFAT is already in the document.
Right, so they can get it in the...
Yeah, if you just forget it, definitely the thing that you have mentioned is correct.
Okay.
That username is for VSFAT. But for online validation, there is no generic username. So you have to use your tied account if you wish to try online validation.
Okay.
Okay. So just if you want me to go to a specific topic during these 15, 20, 25 minutes that we...
Yes, you can, if you can find anything else useful, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know, I want some guidance from the public. Participants, if there is something, just write something in the QA or chat.
Yes, I guess we could ask them if there is anything you want him to go over. If you could indicate in the chat or in the Q&A. Now. Yeah.
Okay, so one question came.
To go over accessing the ISO version of BRIFIC.
Oh yeah, that is a very important issue. Yeah, definitely for ISO version, I have a lot to tell you. So I think you are still seeing this preface.
Yes, we are seeing the preface.
Yes. So I will go to. Yes, for Chile. So this is the address code. This is the list of operating agencies. So you see some hundreds, some four or 5 pages. So yeah, you can have a look and provide us some with some updates if you have. If you don't have access to the latest BRIFIC DVD, no problem. You can always have access to this preface through our web page. I will show you where you can go and find it. So where is the thing? Yes. So share a screen and this. Yeah. If you go to the BRIFIC page, BRIFIC web page, here you have the preface to the BRIFIC. Clicking on that, you will have access to the latest version of this preface, which is published. Okay. So for the ISO version of the BRIFIC, we have already, as it was mentioned in the slides the other day, we have sent a circular letter here to all administrations informing them about this change. And we have requested your administrations to inform us whether you need assistance, whether you're able to download these BRIFICs or not, because it's already 4 months that we have stopped sending physical DVDs, okay? So please, in case for any reason you have not received such information, probably the email address that we have communicated has not been the most recent one, or it has gone through your spam folder. For any reason, if you have not received such information, please have a look at this circular letter and please inform us either to brmail@itu.int or sales@itu.int in case you need your account to be activated and to be able to download the ISO file. Okay, then now we imagine that you have activated your account. How to download the ISO file? In this page, where we can find it. So for terrestrial services, the link is here. We have the BRIFIC download. Click here. You see this publication page, and here is the list of ISO files which are already published. And by clicking here on these small icons, you are able to download the corresponding BRIFIC ISO image. So when you click on that, it asks you for your username and password, and the file will be downloaded. I should say that the file size is about 1.5 gigabytes, and it is zipped, and you have to unzip it, compress it, and you will need about 5 gigabytes, And after that, you can burn that file on a DVD, or you can just simply compress it or open it as a DVD and install and use the content. Okay. So,
Okay.
any questions probably?
Yeah, any others? One just came in. Oh, I think someone was trying to.
Yeah, I don't know if you have already activated your username. It's not free. It's not free for all. Your account should be activated. I said that you have to activate your account. Your account is not activated. You have to please write to brmail or to sales@itu.int. All information is written that circular letter in this one. And by
1 second, Julian. Maybe I could
yes.
Nadine explain what is the error she got. Nadine, if you unmute, you can speak.
Yes.
Okay, maybe her microphone isn't working because I'm not able to get her to speak. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, she'll have to, maybe she'll have to. Maybe, as you say, she has to register first.
Yeah. I don't know if you see the circular letter here.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now, yes.
Yeah, so here it's, you see two links. One is for terrestrial BRIFICs, one is for space BRIFICs. And of course, here it is said that either it's your first time. If it's your first time trying to download the ISO file, please contact sales, or always you can contact us through brmail@itu.int. So we are in cooperation, of course, together. We exchange information, and we make sure that you have your account activated as soon as possible. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. For the moment, we have still some administrations which have not yet acknowledged our circular letter. So please check with your administrations and make sure that your administrations are aware of this circular letter.
Right. Okay, she seems to have gotten it now. She updated her comment in the Q&A.
Oh, great. That's good.
Good. All right, I'm not seeing other questions, and I know we ran late yesterday, so we seem to have a hand. 1 second, let me check and see.
Yeah.
Do we have a hand? Okay. I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So as I said, we were late yesterday, so maybe we can take our break a little early today and start the next session at 10 in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. That is with, let me just check and verify. Yes, that will be with Andrea Manara and we'll be looking at more tools related to terrestrial services. So let's take our break now and return at 10:30. That's in about 14 minutes time for the next session. Hang on, just before I do that, I see the question came through. Only one person in the administration that already received the DVD of the BRIFIC can download the BRIFIC. So the administration must choose one person that will have the access to download the BRIFIC. Did you see that response there, Saman?
Yes, that's good.
That's accurate?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
It's with our sales department that they are managing this kind of membership things. And yeah, definitely, because we have one free access to the DVD per administration. So the same idea is kept for accessing the ISO image. So that means one per terrestrial and one for space.
Okay. All right, folks, let's take our break now and back at 10:30 for the next presentation. Thank you very much, Saman, for the explanations. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay. Break now and be back shortly. Okay, folks, welcome back to our second session of today's webinar, where we will continue with the various tools associated with using the terrestrial services procedures of the ITU BR. In this session, we will have three presentations. One web tools, one on propagation modeling tools, and the last one on cross-border coordination services. We'll have two speakers, Mr. Andrea Manara and Mr. Chongshan Ryu. And Andrea will take us through the first two presentations on web tools and propagation models tools. So I will invite Andrea now to make his presentation and ask him please to take the floor. Thank you.
Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Here it is. I received my screen with online tools and electronic communication means for terrestrial services, first page.
We're not seeing it yet. I think
you're not seeing it yet, okay. So
share.
Yeah, I need to share. What about now?
Yes, it's now good. But you have to put it in the presentation mode. Exactly. Very good.
Okay. So I will discuss the online tools and electronic communication means for terrestrial services. In the agenda, I will first introduce the tools, the EBCD 2.0 platform for broadcasting services, which includes eQuery, ePub, eTools, and MyAdmin. And then I would speak on the eMyFAR, which is the application for all terrestrial services. And then I will mention our new deployment in a beta release, which will enhance and generalize the online tools. So it will integrate all the EBCD 2.0 tools, the eMyFAR, and also the online validation in a single tool. I will make a demonstration of the tools, and then I will leave you with the next exercise session that you could do it whenever you want after the presentation. So just the objectives of the platform are to bring the BR closer to administration with added value services. So we have for up-to-date, we offer the possibility to see up-to-date broadcasting data via eQuery. We offer special section at the publication date with EPUB. We offer calculation on demand with tools. And then with MyAdmin, we offer a way to easily follow up plan modification procedure and related deadline. The tools are accessible to TICE users, but for MyAdmin, the access is restricted to focal point only. So the outcome of this platform is to reduce the workload on both BR and administrations and reduce the need for printed documents. I will show you how. Just to give an overview of the usage of the platform, which was first deployed about a decade ago. So overall, in this period, we had more than 1,800 users which have been accessing the platform from 182 member states. And I put here on the right side, upper side, the statistics for region 2. And I also would like to mention that in June of this year, we had 221 users from 91 administration which accessed the portal, so it's very much used. The first tools, I would say that are complementary to the information which is in the BRIFIC. We have eQuery, which allows you to make an online search on the plans according to the filters that you see described here: administration, frequency, admin unique ID, and so on and so forth. While EPUB shows you the special section at the end of the publication. So the EPUB is actually an archive. You don't see live data. You just see the data as it was published the day of the publication. So it's a sort of an archive. You don't need to search amongst a pile, a stock of BRIFIC DVD. You have the information there. And there you can search by BRIFIC number, by administration, and you can distinguish between your own notifications or the notifications which are affecting you. And then you can export to Excel, Google Earth, and now you can also generate e-notice files. E-tools, we offer these on-demand calculations on the scope of different broadcasting agreements like GEO6, Geneva 84, and for region 2, we have been using these very much in the Central America and Caribbean compatibility analysis. And then also is relevant that following a CTL request, we offered the possibility to make analysis in the scope of the RJ81 plan. Also, it may be interesting for you to know that we offer simulations using the I2R, P1812, and P1546 propagation prediction method. And at the big end, we have an internal I2 farm with 30 parallel processes which are distributed in such a way to minimize the waiting time. And I just wanted to show you that in this year, in this first 6 or 7 months, we had about 2,000 jobs run by 125 users from 66 administrations. So what you do is that you first need to validate the e-notice file with the different application. And we had the presentation from Saman, which was showing the online validation, which is also integrated here, but only for the Geneva 84 analysis. So it's not for the RJ81 and CA compatibility analysis that you are interested in. So you will need to validate the e-notice file with the online validations, and then you can upload these e-notice files, and then you complete the submission. At this point, what you do is that you can just relax because you have done your first part of the job. And so when you receive an email, it means that the ITU system have finished analyzing your data. And so you will be notified with an email. So you will see that when you submit a job, as an example for the compatibility analysis, when you submit a calculation, the job status would appear like pending. And then when the system will start analyzing, will appear as in process, and then it will either hopefully succeed or fail. And so in that case, hopefully you will have an error message. We will assist you to fix the files and resubmit. If the error is not very clear, please get in touch with us and we will assist. It is also important to note that jobs like the e-notices and the results are owned and are visible only to you. But we have implemented a mechanism to facilitate the coordinations between administrations. So now you can share with other IBSD users. Yeah, I would like to spend a few words about the CA compatibility analysis. You had a session Wednesday on broadcasting plans and the Central American Caribbean multilateral agreement from my colleague Evgeny. So we have been heavily using this compatibility analysis to establish the reference list, which is the basis for this agreement. And it is also very important that now, after the establishment of the reference list, administrations are invited to ensure that their assignments are compatible with the one in the reference list, in the master register, before officially notifying new or additional channels not included in the list to the ITU. So, in short, these compatibility analyses are interference calculations between new requirements from the electronic notification files and existing master register notices and recorded assignments. The output would be an access database, which can be downloaded and analyzed with the CA display application. It's very important to note also that this software is based on the software which was developed by the EBU for the RRC 06 conference, with the main differences that we have had to replace the propagation model which was used at the conference with the recommendation P1546-5, which has the correction for the refractive index instead of that having the propagation zone. And also, of course, we had to include protection ratios for all digital systems because of the conference we just have DVB-T. So RJ81, also we, as I mentioned before, with a request from CTEL in the period 2014-2015.
China established.
Yes, hello. I got. Okay. So we had implemented this following a CTEL request in 2014, and we offer 3 different calculations. The RJ81 Article 4 plan modification to simulate the technical examinations under Article 4. Then the what-if studies, which do the same job, but also include the addition of the analysis of the internal compatibilities. And then the last job is the what-if studies with the configurable enum, which perform the same as in point 2, but on the basis of a reference situation which is recalculated on the fly, using a set of nominal usable field strength that are provided by the users. I will not mention this here because we have a separate sessions on the P1812 and the P1546. So I would skip this and I will now focus on my admin. And since November 2016, my admin has been restricted access only to focal point, and we issued the circular letter 408, and we have received about 250 focal points from 96 administration. From region 2, we only had from Bolivia, and so we encourage your administrations to submit focal points, because we can add in the future more added value services in my admin, and I will explain what I mean afterwards. So as an example, in my admin we have a part that is the mailbox, which is the BR output channel, where we put communications between BR and member states. So you see the latest special sections, and you see some notices, but this is only in the scope of the Geo6 agreement. So some notices which are not yet published in the BRIFIC, but we need to show you. So I will go on. So we have a part that is actually a dashboard with all the plans and the master register. And for you, we will have the RJ81 and the master register, but then we were thinking to add additional services, additional information, like the number of records that are in the CA reference list. So it will be always expanding, and we will add more services. So please, we encourage administrations to submit focal points. We also have now integrated the documents. So the letters in the scope of the broadcasting agreements are also there now. I will also mention notification services. Each week. I'm sorry, only a second. Yeah, I'm sorry for the interruption. So we have these email notification services where we inform administrations of records that have been published, and also outgoing correspondence, right? But of course, for your region, we have only the RJ81 plan, which is not very active. So this part would not be very interesting so far for you. The master register, it's an application where you can visualize the records for all terrestrial services. So not only broadcasting, but also fixed and mobile. And you are able to retrieve simultaneously and so see all your records in the master register. I will just show you which is the look and feel of this new application. So it has a more modern look. And as I mentioned, we will integrate in at the same entry point, the online val, the MIFR, and the CIC reference list. This is just to show how it would like. And we have a new GIS systems, which it will be much more performant and flexible than the one which I've been using now. And with this, I will end up my first presentation. And so I'd like to ask if you have any question about this part, and then I would show a little bit the application, and then I will move to the next part on the propagation models.
There is one question.
Yeah.
Glenn Riedel was asking, where do you register your focal point?
Yes, okay. For the focal point, let me put back my screen, because in a slide, are you seeing my screen now or not?
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah, you're still seeing my screen. So for the focal point in a slide, so the slides are available in the site, but I have a modified version. So after this seminar, I will upload it, so you will get the new version. You need to send an email to brbcd@itu.int, and then you specify the list of focal point for your administration.
Okay, could you put that email in the chat, and so that everyone
yes, immediately.
Send it to all panelists and attendees.
So yeah, let me just see the chat. I need to resize. Yeah, I'm not okay. No, this answered. I'm gonna put in the chat, right?
Yes, put it in the chat box.
Yes. So type answer brbcd@itu.int. Send.
Okay.
Okay. I put this mail address in the chat. So now I just would like to show you where you find the access to the application. You go to terrestrial broadcasting services. And
then is that, he's asking, is that focal point only for the EBCD or?
Yes, are just the focal point for these online services for broadcasting.
Right. All right, okay.
Yes, yes.
All right.
So you have in the Broadcasting Service Division webpage, you have the link here, BCD 2.0 Broadcasting Online. And then you see all the tools, like you can click on a query. So you would be interested here only in the RJ81 plan. Yes, so as an example, if you click on Brazil and you apply the filter, you are going to retrieve all the records in the plan so that you can then click on a link, visualize the detail, and then you can also proceed by making an export to Google Earth so that you, and then you open, so you need to have installed Google Earth. And then you will be presented with all the location of the assignment. So the recorded assignments are in green. If we have some pending notices, will be in red. And then you can click on the one that you are interested in. As an example, if I want to go in Salvador, and then view detail, you should be able to open the detail here. So then you go back to Google Earth, and then you can visualize on a map. So I also want to inform you that we are gonna develop more and more maps because we think that are adding a lot of value. And so you see that it's a simple interface with few filters only, but it's very fast and is accessible anywhere, anytime. EPUB, so the publications. Here also for you would be interested in the RJ81 agreement. So you can see here that the last publication was in May 2017. So, and also before, since 2007, we have really a very little notification, but also here in case of interest, you can access and visualize, export, and so on and so forth. If you're interested in a particular administration, so I'm interested, as an example, in Brazil, because they did some notifications, you can see a list of all the notifications. So I repeat, when you click here on the link, you will see the data as it was at the time of the publication. Afterwards, it has been frozen here, but of course, it may have evolved because administration may have suppressed or modified records. So here is a static database. Now I will go to eTools. So for you, I repeat, Geographic CA compat and RJ81. What do? We take this button, new calculation, choose a file. So you have build up your file with other BBR tools. Then you have stored on your hard disk. And then, as an example, we had recently a notification, a test from Mexico, which was failing in our system. So we had to fix actually a bug in the system, in the calculation. So I have this file here. So I can choose it up, upload it, and then submit. When we did this planning event recently in your region, of course, we had many files that were submitted from multiple administrations, and so we had the results of the compatibility analysis taking into account the file. So you see that it is already in process. The job is already in process. And so when it will complete, I will receive an email and I will have a look at the results. In the meanwhile, I can submit also a job for the RJ81, just to show you again, which choose file, which I repeat was produced and validated with other BR tools. I have here a few notices that we used to develop the system from Argentina. We submit again. Back to calculation history. Again, you see now this is not yet has not yet been taken by the system, is in pending status. So we will need to wait a little bit. And then I will show you the last part of this presentation. I will show you my admin. Again, let me take Brazil. So if I take the administration for which we have a focal point, which is Bolivia, is the only one in your region. So I take Bolivia. Of course, here I am making a simulation, because if you are at a point, you immediately will see this screen. You will not see this part of this administrative part. So for Bolivia, we will have RJ81 records and for the master register. So again, you can click and see. So I received an email which informs me that one of the job has finished. So I go and see RJ81 is finished. Has finished just now for 9. So I need to hurry up because I have another presentation. So I click on this job ID and I can see the results. Very important, here we have a link, documentations, where you will understand which is this analysis. So if you open the link, you will have a manual, and so you will have more information. I think that this is all what I wanted to show you. So if you have any question, I can answer. If not, I can move on to my next presentation. I don't see any question.
I'm not seeing any questions, so probably you can go ahead in the meantime.
Yeah. Okay, so now I will launch the second presentation. Just close this one here. Propagation. So how much time I have allocated still?
Yeah, you're good. I think we have like at least an hour left in the session, so it's time for you and Chun-san.
Okay. Okay. So next. So I will start my presentation now on the propagation models tools in tools using the recommendation ATUR P1812 and P1546. So I will make a short introduction of the models, and then we will make some demonstration of the calculations, and then I have also for you an exercise session in such a way that you will get hands-on these tools. So just a brief overview of the differences between these two models. So one is a deterministic and one is empirical. So the empirical model, it is a P1546, now at version 6. It was released in August 2019. Empirical means that is based on extensive field measurements and statistical analysis. So if you look at the recommendation, you have these propagation curves. It is a path general method because the effect of the terrain is only the effective antenna height. We don't have the dam. In case we have a dam, the accuracy of the models can be improved via the usage of the clearance angle correction and the troposcattering correction as well. In this last version, it was extended the validity up to 4 gigahertz in such a way to allow also for the sharing studies between IMT, including 5G, and FS, fixed services, and FSS, fixed satellite services. The interval of validity is between 1 and 1,000 kilometers, and between 1 and 50% percentage of time, and 1 and 99% of percentage of locations, and below 3 kilometers for receiver and 1,000 meter antenna height. So this P1546 is to provide a quick propagation loss prediction for a point-to-area scenario based on real-world measured data, empirical model. While the P1812 is a deterministic model in the sense that it models all the physics which plays a role in the VHF-UHF band, and is a path-specific model, uses terrain profile, that is elevation above mean sea level. So the range of validity you see is just up to 3 gigahertz, but has more validity in distances between 0.25 and 3,000 kilometers. And the two methods can be used for interference and coverage analysis. As I was mentioning, P1546, we have field strength curves as a function of the distance, the antenna height, the frequency, and the percentage of time. And of course, depends on land, warm sea, cold sea. Then the frequency are 100, 600, 2000 megahertz, time percentage between 1, 10, 50% of time. And of course, for the method, we have interpolation, extrapolation techniques. We have method for mixed path, land, sea, and then very important, the correction for the refractivity index. P1812, as I was saying, is the deterministic model. I'm making here an overview of all the physics which takes place for the propagations in these bands. So you see we have line of sight, line of sight with reflection from the land. We have a clutter, line of sight, reflection. We have diffraction. We have scattering. We have eddies in the air, rain, reflecting surfaces and objects, the diffraction, terrain, building, and vegetation. Then, of course, refraction, you know, the atmospheric bending on radio path. So when you go up, you have lower pressure and temperature, so the reflectivity index falls with high, so the path is bended towards back of the band. And so this is, and of course we also have the simulation of the ducting for just a short period of time, but in this region the refractive index is inverted so that the signal can go much farther. And these are the input parameters for tools. Many of these parameters are the same between P1812 and P1546, but we have some differences. As an example, the P1812 depends on the polarization. So you need to enter it. And you can also use the clutter. And then, of course, you have the usual possibility to enter different frequency, antenna height, above ground level, ERP, percentage of time. And of course, for the point-to-point, you will add the receiver point. Point-to-area, you will have the one to the FS and the bearing. P1546, you will have the environmental type, can be rural of urban, And you have this type of clusters, reception type, polarization, and so on. And yeah, here I'm making a table with the percentage of time and location which we have been using in your region for this analysis. And as you see, the recommendation P1546 nominally works up to 50% of time. But we had to plan also for ATSC and ISDBT, which have to be planned for 90% of time. So but in ITU, we have a report with a formula which make the P1546 applicable also for 90% of time. And we discussed with the working party 3K, because we were not sure if we could apply this method, and they replied that this formula is not generally applicable, but it errs on the conservative safe side. So we were able to use it in our events. This is, yes, this is a point to area calculation with the P1812. You see that it makes use of the DEM because you see not only the principal contour, but also the other contour where you have where you achieve the wanted FS. I made two simulations here, one at 1 degree resolution and one at 10 degree. Of course, at 1 degree you see more, but of course it takes much more time, because you along the path you have for each step you have to see which is the elevation from the dam and make all the calculations. So it is time consuming. What I did afterwards is that I took the location of the transmitter antenna, and I took a point here on the last contour where we achieved the wanted FS, and I did a point-to-point analysis, and then you see in blue, you see the terrain altitude. So we start at this place that is 800, about 600, and then we go up to 3000, and then you see the correlation between the FS and the terrain altitude. This I just wanted to show you what we do. We are doing JS analysis for FS contour. So you see that we make calculations along the radials. In this step number 1, you see that we make a calculation each 10 degree. Then the output is an ASCII file with vector data. So you have the points, the location, longitude and latitude, and the value of the FS. We need to convert to a raster. We need to make an interpolation to fields. You see that there are voids. So we make an interpolation, and then we extract the wanted FS contour. And then finally we convert to KMZ for you to analyze the results. And we are using open source JS libraries. Here I'm making a comparison, always in this particular location, between the P1812 and the P1546. In this case, as you can see, that they match pretty well in this case, but of course results can be drastically different. And then you see here I'm making in my hometown in Italy, Torino. You see we have the Alps here. So you see that the P1812, the signal is blocking at the Alps, as it should, and instead P1546 is much far because it's not seeing the mountains, and we are not using the, yes, in this version of the software, I forgot to mention that we have not implemented yet the correction by the terrain clearance angle. Yeah, I wanted to discuss this because it is a case, is a use case that we encountered when we were assisting your administrations. Here is a results of the compatibility analysis with the CA display application, and this CA and compact analysis implements the P1546 when you're using this for coverage analysis for wanted area, wanted service area, but also for the interference analysis. So in this case, we have the one interferes in Honduras, and the wanted is these requirements in Salvador. So we see that from the interferer to the edge of the service area, the analysis, the compatibility analysis gave a value of the combined nuisance field strength to about 55 dB microvolt per meter, which when you do the detailed analysis and you look at the protection ratios plus the correction factor for the 95% of location in this case, because we have a ISDBT, you have an FS of 21.9. So this is a value which doesn't consider the effect of the terrain. So when you make when you discuss with your neighbors, you want to see which is the real situation in the terrain. So I did again, I took this point and the relevant point for which we inferred this value of the FS, and we saw with the P1812 point to point, we saw that we obtain a value that is much lower. So this would bring the margin that we obtained before, it would bring to an acceptable level. So it is very important to use these two propagation model, I would say, in a complementary way. Here, right, I have also an exercise for you to do it afterwards to get accustomed with that, with the tool. So if this ends up my second presentation, and I can show you now a little bit the application if you don't have any question.
There was one question from Sabagi asking if the eTool 1812 has the mixed path calculation.
1812.
Exactly.
Let me go back to. The mixed path, yes, it has it takes, of course, into account everything. Yes, yeah. Of course, it can be, because you are evaluating the FS at each 10 kilometer step along the radial. So it means that you know which is the elevation. So you also know if it is land or sea. Yeah. So yeah, yes, the answer is that sea and land are taken into account.
Okay, if that's what he means, I guess he would indicate if there's anything else. I think it's because this particular slide mentioned the 1546, but not the 1812.
Yeah. Yes, let me put this a little bit bigger, because maybe I didn't express myself very well. Because with the P1546, I mean, you just evaluate how much path you have on land and on sea, and so of course then you need a method to combine
Yes.
land and the warm sea and cold sea. So you have a formula which is taking this into account empirically to match the data. Okay. Instead, for the P1812, I mean, it's a different approach. It's a different approach. So we don't just evaluate how much path in land and sea. So we don't have a formula which then merge the two contribution, but is something that is evaluated step by step. I don't know if this answer the question.
Right. I think it's, yeah, I think there was no C shown on this one, so that's why the question came up.
Yeah. It is not shown, but it's a very detailed propagation model. So of course the sea is the effect of the sea is taken into account.
Okay.
So if there are no further
not as yet, so you can go ahead.
So maybe I can just show briefly how to make a calculation. So again, you push new calculation button. Now we are for the P1546, and I will take the case that I showed in the example. So I will take this transmitting station in Salvador. So I need to enter the longitude as, okay, I have done it previously, so it remains in the interface. So I just enter the location of the transmitter antenna. The frequency we were doing at 497, and we can do it for linear P of 30. Yes, so we make an interference calculation, and then we can put wanted FS of 30 dB per meter. We submit. So we have the point in Honduras. Now again, we just need to wait a little bit, but it's already in process, so it will be fast. At the same time, I can also submit this for the P1812 new calculation. Again, let me put the same parameter for the transmitting antenna. I think I put 30. We do each 10 degrees, so it is faster. I put the same frequency and the same ERP. The clutter, yeah, I didn't mention before, but if we have a specific height, so if we have also a database with the clutter height, we can enter it specifically. If not, the value we can specify, which is the type. So I can put open rural and then maybe.
Andrea, in terms of the parameters you are putting in, there is a question as to whether 1% of time is not extremely low.
Yeah, 1% is used when we do interference calculation. I can put back my slides where we have the parameters which we were using. Is not this the slide that I wanted to show you, but it's here. You see, if we do interference analysis for the unwanted signals, we use 1% of time. But if we use coverage analysis, we need to go up to 50% for the DBT and 90%. So actually, the application that we have now is not allowing for 90% of time. So we will need to, in this tool, in tools, we may need to think if we want to offer it, because we know that it's not generally applicable. Let me go back. Yeah, so again here we submit, and then we need to wait a little bit more here. So you see, I had run the same job before and it took 18 minutes. And then when you click, you get the results as I was discard. No, I need to. Suddenly it's blocking this thing. Is the first time that is happening on my computer that I get blocked. So I cannot open it now, but normally you can open it. I need to.
Okay. There's another question from Santiago. He's saying he thinks both methods are probabilistic, and why not use a deterministic method like P526 or in case of interference?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I was not too precise by saying that one is the P1546 is mostly empirical, while the P1812 is mostly deterministic. But are the two that we are offering now? Of course, we can offer more and more propagation models, but yeah, we
in the future.
In the future, yes. In the future. So with this, I think that I've used all of my time, and we should leave some space for my colleague. So,
right.
If there are no further questions,
I think we've at least addressed some of the questions, all the questions that were asked. So thank you very much, Andrea.
You're welcome.
Using more software tools to do this type of propagation analysis now. So yeah. We will get on to our last presentation for today, which will be from Chongshan Ryu. And he is going to be talking to us about, remind me, cross-border coordination issues for fixed and mobile services. So, okay, Chongshan, we're ready for you now. If you can take the floor, please.
Good morning, Nigel. May I share my screen? Oh no, you have say, do you see my face on your screen? Okay. Okay, it's perfect. But Nigel, you are muted.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Oh, yes, yes. We can see you, and we can see it, and we can hear you.
Okay. Where is my?
We are seeing your first slide.
Yes. You are seeing my first slide. That's good.
Yes.
And then, oh, sorry. Why it is like this? My intention was not like this, but it has happened. Just a moment, I will stop here and then I'll do again.
Okay. But we were seeing your first slide, eh? We were seeing it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, how about now?
Yes, we're seeing it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then why this is a, okay. Okay.
You're not getting it to move.
The team, yep, at the Zoom screen, yep, overlapped with my presentation screen. That's why it was quite difficult for me. Okay, thank you. And good morning, Nigel, and then all participants. I'm not sure it is morning or afternoon. Good afternoon as well.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, this is the last session in this week, and I hope you feel better looking forward to the weekend, joyful weekend. As you see on the screen, this session is devoted to cross-border coordination issue for fixed and mobile service. And then, yep, it encompasses all the general aspect and then all the coordination aspect of terrestrial stations. Oops. Yep. Yeah. Yep. As you see, the purpose of the frequency coordination is to ensure interference-free operation in border areas and to assist long-term planning of frequency and to promote efficient spectrum utilization and to help to resolve interference between neighboring countries. Yep. And yep, because my colleague Hawking has already introduced the definition of interference on Tuesday, I would like to focus on only the concept of the definitions. As we all know, radio frequency interference is everywhere, as we experience audio noise everywhere. I hope the noise outside of my apartment is acceptable in this meeting. It's very loud outside. However, if interference is negligible or does not impact on an intended communication, it would be classified as a permissible interference. The maximum permissible interference level should be agreed among all concerned parties in the I2R. This level is used as a hard limit or coordination trigger level in many regulatory provisions. Sometimes on a higher interference level can be accepted by bilateral coordination. If you experience a harmful interference, you need to report the interference infringement to the operator or to the administration, your administration. So to resolve the issue. There are many techniques to share frequency in an area or to have a compatibility between the neighboring areas. Frequency separation is absolutely the best way. However, a spatial separation is also a good idea, but those are not spectrally efficient. That's why we are using time separation and the signal separation. Those are also be a good approach. However, if it is so planned among concerned parties, if it is not, it is quite difficult. For LTE, they can use a single frequency in a border area with 2 operators. However, by 2 operators, however, if they don't agree with that, they can't, because it is not possible to agree with them. Say, the earlier the better it is, say, for the initiation of coordination. Yep. Of course, however, it is also important to have a coordination procedure on a operation stage also. To initiate the coordination, you have to identify potentially affected organizations or identify identities using agreed characteristic. You may reach an agreement with other parameters than you planned, because there are many variants in the real situation. For a fixed and mobile service assignments, there are 2 categories of coordination. There is mandatory coordination category. It means the BR will examine the coordination status. And then voluntary coordination, it is a voluntary made between adjacent or neighboring countries. The mandatory coordination encompasses the coordination under Article 9, and then coordination under provisions in regulations, or coordination under WRC resolutions. Also, a worldwide plan in the Appendix 10, for example, Appendix 25, or regional plan, for example, Geneva 06. There is Rio de Janeiro 88 as well. So those are mandatory coordination. The BR should check the compliance on coordination. There are some tricky issue that the coordination under Article 9, especially 9.16 and 9.18 and 9.19, we are giving findings under 1132. However, for other coordinations, we are giving findings under 1131. It means there is no regulatory procedure mandated for the coordination. For planning coordination, we are examining under Article 1134. We have a guideline for the coordination criteria in Appendix 5. For the coordination under 916 or 918, we have to check if a station, terrestrial station, is within a coordination contour or coordination area of an Earth station of satellite service. And for the coordination under 919, it means a coordination is respect to broadcasting satellite. We have to check if the broadcasting satellite service area is within certain distance. We are saying that the distance of 1,200 kilometers here. However, there are some cases the distance is given in other provisions, other rules, resolutions, or rules of procedure. So I may show you later. If a footnote of the table of frequency allocation in Article 5 of the regulations contains a reference to the number provision 921 coordination procedure, the frequency assignment in this band is subject to obtaining agreement among from concerned organizations. The criteria for identification of affected organizations is given as a form of PF limit or separation distance in the footnote or in the associated WRC resolution. Coordination criteria may be given in a form of protection criteria, such as I of n, and the interference set, and interference level in the field strength, or populous density, or distance separation, as 175 kilometer or 1,200 kilometers. And then also a coordination contour or area for earth station or non-planned PSS service area. Oops. Yep. Yep. If a footnote contains if a footnote contains a reference to the 911A, or terrestrial assignment in this band requires a coordination with respect to non-GSO earth station in the same band. For others, the 918 coordination procedure is applied. For example, this slide shows that in this example, no earth station was found in this frequency band within 1,200 kilometers. Oh, no. It is a earth station. So there is no earth station having coordination contour within this terrestrial station. So we have to see that it is a station of Paraguay. Oh, sorry, it comes back. Paraguay, and then it induces a assigned frequency 8 gigahertz, and then it is under a shared band downlink as well. So, however, there is no satellite earth station in this area. Also, this is Canadian example, which is using 2.2 gigahertz, and then it is also favorable because there is no station in 2.2 gigahertz. This case is say for 919, with respect to broadcasting satellite service. I think you have 622, 790 megahertz on your PDF file. However, this band was absolute by WRC19. So you need to stroke out from your PDF file. The Radio Regulation Board last week approved the modification of rules of procedure on provision 919. For an IMT station in the frequency band 1,452 to 1,492 megahertz in region 1 and region 3, WRC19 had set different criteria for the 919 coordination. The rules of procedure is to give the propagation model as a recommendation ITUL P.452 to calculate the PFD limit. For all other cases of IMT, for all other cases and the non-IMT station in this band should use a 1,200 kilometer for the coordination. As shown in this slide, the example notice located in French Guiana had to effect the coordination under provision 919 with the 5 neighboring countries. To identify the affected organization, we have to identify BSS network at first, which uses the same frequency band and the service area over the 1,200 kilometers from the notified terrestrial station. For the satellite service, the administration of space network is different from the administration within the BSS service area. For example, there are 72 satellite networks identified as affected, and they are involved in 9 administrations. They are operated by 9 administrations. However, there are 5 administrations within a service area. So this is how the affected organization are identified for this example notice with respect to the example PSS network on the 919 procedure. Yep. So this is one example for one satellite network. However, there are 72 networks affected by this terrestrial station. Yep. You can query the space network from actual website. The tip is say that you may use a longitude range considering the distance of 1,200 kilometers from the location of the terrestrial station in question. In the example, because the longitude was given as 52 degrees for terrestrial station, 52 degrees west, yeah. So that's why we have to give a range as from minus 41 to 63. Oh, sorry, this is a minus 63 to minus 41. For query the correct BSS networks. You can query also the Earth station as well. So everything is possible to query from this web page, SNL. In this example, using 2.3 gigahertz in Canada, low BSS network was found within 1,200 kilometers. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I think you have a different. No, I think it is correct. Yeah. So, however, Canada has already obtained the agreement from the neighboring country, USA, but this is not an issue, even if it is not a coordination, not in the coordination contour, but you can get an agreement between neighboring countries. If you have already obtained an agreement from the neighboring countries for the terrestrial assignment, you must notify this information in your notice form. It can be easily inserted into the notice file using a text editor or using the Terra Notice program that was introduced by my colleague Saman just yeah, in the morning. In the coordination under 921, the protected service is not only space service, but also terrestrial service of the neighboring countries. There are a lot of frequency band referencing referencing provision 921. However, a few of them are related to the region 2 countries. They are highlighted with green in the area column. In this slide, a radio location service in the band 70 to 90 kHz and the 110 to 130 kilohertz are subject to coordination under 921 region 2. Yeah, also there are some frequency bands which are involved for the region 2 countries. Yep, some you may see the protection criteria column. You can see the rules of procedure B6. It provides the protection, the coordination criteria. But in some band, it is not defined yet. Also, in some of region 2 countries, portion of UH band are subject to coordination under provision 921. Guatemala has joined those footnotes for the frequency band 614 to 698 megahertz at WRC 19. Also, there are 800 megahertz band which are related to region 2 countries. There are also 3.3 to 3.4 gigahertz and 3.6 to 3.7 gigahertz. There's some region 2 countries are involved in the coordination under number 921. Yep, also 10.6 to 10.68 gigahertz are also concerned frequency band for region 2 countries. Some coordination criteria are given in a resolution, WRC resolutions. For example, resolutions 749 and 760 provides a coordination criteria as a distance separation distance. There are a link to the rules of procedure B4 and B5 and B6, which are providing coordination criteria for a frequency band for which no criteria was given in provision itself or WRC resolution. So I think the yellow part is not on your material. However, it's very important to remind that for coordination requests under provision number 921, the affected organization should respond within 4 months. If not, it is regarded as unaffected. It is very important to a statutory coordination period. In this example, which I chose one example from Cuba there. So there are 14 test cases with neighboring countries like listed in this slide, and then we found that there is no affected administrations. It means rules of procedure B6 provide as a trigger field strength 20 dB microvolt per meter to protect a television station in this band. However, there is no countries which have this 20 dB microvolt per meter above the value. So that's why no countries were identified as affected. This is the rules of procedure, section 3.1, which has a protection criteria for broadcasting. So we have to use this protection criteria to identify affected administration. There are another coordination procedure for mandatory coordination according to the worldwide plan, such as Appendix 25 and the regional plans. However, I would skip those two parts because those are specifically mentioned in the Appendix 25 and then a final act of the conference, regional conference itself. There is a case of coordination, coordination requirements by some WRC resolutions. Coordination criteria given by resolution 612 showed that the frequency band is in the high HF band, high frequency band, and then the services for oceanographic radar application. So for those application, we have to coordinate with other organizations, but there is no specific procedure for coordination. It is arbitrarily, you should arbitrarily obtain a agreement from affected organization. After resolution 612 gave coordination, multiple coordination criteria. However, if there is a multiple coordination criteria, the BR uses only the stringent coordination criteria. In this case, we are selecting quiet rural area coordination criteria. However, the rural area coordination criteria can be used for the bilateral coordination to get agreement. Especially in the frequency band identified for HAPS, there are many cases where it requires explicit agreement from affected administrations. This slide shows 2.1 gigahertz and 6.5 gigahertz band. I think they are not, they are enough. And then also there are many HAPS frequency band shown in this slide. The coordination requirements and the criteria are given in the associated resolution. You can see the resolution number here. We may see the voluntary coordination case. The establishment of voluntary coordination is similar with the mandatory coordination. You must check if foreseen interference is higher than the permissible interference, maximum permissible interference, and then coordination should preferably be initiated on the planning stage, and the first stage coordination can be between operators, and then second stage coordination can be between administrations, and lastly, you may ask BR's assistance if it is difficult. If there is no clear guideline on the coordination criteria, you may calculate you may get by calculation of the criteria based on the receiver characteristics. However, this limit would be very stringent. You may need to adjust through the dialogue with the concerned administrations to have an accepted or agreed interference criteria. When you have a meeting between administrations or between operators, you may need to establish a special agreement. This agreement may need to contain all the details required for coordination as shown in this slide and then the other slide next. It is also important to have an auxiliary provision in the agreement, a measure of resolving the instance of unexpected harmful interference. You may wish to designate a focal point or a contact point of operators and then contact point of administration, so that you can easily dialogue very rapidly. Yes, in conclusion, the radio signal spillover is unavoidable, and coordination activities inevitable. The best solution is to have an agreement on channeling arrangement between concerned organization. For frequency not having a channeling arrangement, we have to do coordination between organizations, taking into account the agreed criteria or method. If coordination has been complete, please be sure to include this information in your notice. You may get all the information, including the flow chart from the IT web page. A list of some reference attached to this material, your material, so you can see that. I would like to show I switch my screen to IT web pages. Just a minute.
Okay, first you stop sharing this and then
Yep.
Start the other.
Stop sharing. Here it is. Why it is not showing?
Maybe you have to do it twice. Right.
Okay. Okay. Come on in. Do you see my screen?
Yes, it looks like the ITU web page or something.
Oh, just why?
With the two diagrams, coordination with space services and coordination under.
Oh, yes, very good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep, in this screen, in this web page, you may go to the Radio Communication Bureau, and then you can choose a terrestrial service, and then you can check a fixed and mobile service, and then you may see all the details on the menu on the right side, the main activities, and then you can choose the coordination procedure here. I don't like to tell more about 918 and 916. However, I would like to introduce this flow chart. You can get this flow chart to understand how the 921 procedure is going on. So I don't like to take much time, but please be sure that the 4 months period is very important after you got the information, after coordination request was published in a special section. So you have to check carefully on this period. And then also I would like to give you
where is that? Where is that flow chart, Chung-Hyun?
Yep. Sorry.
How do you get that flow chart you were showing?
Yeah. On the do you see my screen?
Yes, but I'm seeing the web page now.
Yeah. On the coordination under 921.
Yes.
You have a post the second bullet, the coordination procedure under the provision RRS 921. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And then the other one is a special section published in BRIFIC. I would like to introduce this one. So this is BRIFIC BRIFIC homepage. For example, there is a BRIFIC 2924 published on July 7th. there was a Geneva 06L special section. However, below there is a 986 RR line 21 special section in part C. So we may take this one. This is for Russian cases. They made a request for coordination, and then there are some frequency list to be coordinated. So you have to check this site periodically, and then if there is any coordination request nearby your country, you have to be careful to reply a PR with your decision. But PR will send any send the information by document, by correspondence to your administration when this is affected to your administration. But sometimes the document was missing, so that's why you have to check this site.
And you have 4 months to respond?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You do have some questions. The first one is a general question from Alicia in Jamaica. The use of mobile, you can look at the Q&A box, right? The use of mobile spectrum assigned to one region, like region 1, in region 2 is a significant contribution to interference in the Caribbean. Why does the ITU allow this to happen? Meaning some countries in the Caribbean using region 1 allocations or allotments, it's sort of.
The assignment in mobile stations in region 1 or region 3 would not affect region 2 countries. However, there are some cases for Alaska, it's nearby Russia,
Right.
Russian territory. So in that case, it should be concerned. Yeah. Okay.
No, but in the Caribbean, the issue we have is that there are
I don't think
European overseas territories, you know, British, French, Dutch territories.
they're far away.
Yeah. What is supposed to happen? What is supposed to happen in such cases? Should they be using any region 1 allocations, or should they be using region 2, even though they are French overseas territories or British, as the case might be?
I'm sorry, your voice is very. Yes.
No, I was saying, what should be the case for countries that are like French overseas territories, like Martinique and Guadeloupe, or British overseas territories in the Caribbean, in region 2? What should be the case? Should they be using region 1 or region 2?
They are region 2. Yeah,
Region 2.
Caribbean. Yeah, it's territory overseas in region 2. So it is region 2.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Right.
it should be coordinated with those the organizations owning that territory. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let me go on. The other question is based on your slide number 17 about coordination under 919. How to achieve, I guess, the technical documents for determining this flux density. I'm not sure I understand what they're asking.
I understand. This is 1.4 gigawatt region 2. However, this value was taken from the resolution 761, which was approved by WRC 19. So.
Okay. Oh, so that's where you got the data from.
resolution 761, which was approved by WRC 19.
19.
It has this value. Of course, there are a lot of study on this value. Yep, as those study results are in somewhere else in by ITR website. For example, this value is taken from Working Party 5D. There is a agenda item, WRC 19 agenda item 9.1.2, which initiated this study, and then the conclusion was this value. So this value was taken in resolution 761.
Okay. There is one more from Jose Viveros Roa, which is that it seems that the 1200 kilometer radio does not allow to reuse satellite spectrum in any terrestrial area. And this impacts satellite services in the 2 gig and 2.5 to 1.6 gigahertz band, which precludes what are called ATC services. ATC services then could only be provided on a non-shared frequency basis. I don't know if you have any comment on that.
Yeah, 1,200 kilometers is quite a large scale, but there are many cases that I using within that distance by a multilateral agreement, by bilateral agreement. So if some an administration want to use the frequency band for satellite service, they have to get agreement from neighboring countries.
Right. Well, I think he's also complaining that the same criteria is also applicable for existing satellite extension C-band and C-band services versus terrestrial services in the same band, that that there are problems caused to it.
But for the C-band, it is not shared with BSS. It is shared with FSS, and then we have to check if coordination control of an Earth station is covering the terrestrial station. So if a terrestrial station is within the coordination area, defined by Appendix 7 from the Earth station, we have to coordinate with each other.
Yes, with them. Okay, I guess it's kind of complicated. I also had Alvin Augustine from St. Lucia asking the same question about Region 1 and Region 2 and the overseas territories, but from what you explained, they are supposed to be using Region 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
They should be Region 2.
Yes.
We are the frequency alignment Region 1, Region 2, Region 3 are based on the territory itself, not the organization.
Yes. Okay. All right. I think that exhausts the questions. Let me check the chat to see if there's anything in there that might require a comment. No, I haven't. So basically, I think I will say thank you to you and Andrea for the presentations in this session. And we will close our sessions for this week. And thanks to all the presenters from the ITU. We have one more set of what I would call the capacity building sessions to take care of on Monday, where we'll be looking at the tools available for satellite services coordination in the BR, similar to what we did for terrestrial services today. And then for the rest of next week, we'll be having our forum portion of the seminar, where we'll be addressing and discussing specific points of interest in the spectrum management world. So I want to thank all our audience for the week. Today, I guess with our very technical session, we had for the first time, fewer than 200 participants, but still a very high number. And please, we look forward to you joining us next, finish off the satellite, and we get into the forum discussions, where I think our numbers will grow again, maybe even larger than it was at the beginning of this week. One thing I'd like you to look out for, I expect that we would use the same connection links for next week. But if for any reason we have to change it, just keep an eye out to see if you get a new email from the ITU with any new connection and information first thing on Monday morning. All right, so check that first rather than just go back to this week's link. If you don't get anything new, well, then we'll be using this week's link. So thanks to everyone, and I look out to see all of you again for our next week's session. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nigel.
Okay.
Thank you, Nigel, for all the support of CTU. Thanks to all the panelists and all the attendees for joining us. We know that it's quite stressing joining every day 3 hours, but in spite of it, we have received very positive comments and feedback. Thanks again to everybody. Just remember that the next week we have Monday, the last words tutorial for space services, and Tuesday we are going to start the forum. The forum is a more open discussion about different topics. Monday early morning, before starting the session, or at the beginning of the session, we are going to send an update on the agenda. So please, Monday, visit our website, and on the item forum will be duly hyperlinked, and you will find out all the details of this forum agenda, panelists, speakers, and so on. Thanks again for your time.
Thanks. All right. Bye, everybody.